Hello everyone, in this video today we're going to be taking a look at an article from DML News written by Jill Cohen. I'm probably butchering the hell out of the first half of her hyphenated name. It was published on September 18th. 6 streamers sue Trump over DACA. Now, I just love the balls on these 6 illegals. Because it takes balls to say, I have a right to this. Okay? When you're here illegally. That takes balls to do that. Say, I have a right to be here. Yeah, I might have come here illegal, but I have a right. No, you don't. And it just goes to show the levels of entitlement and privilege that these people feel, because they feel that, that they're privileged, that they should have this. San Diego attorney Dulce Garcia is one of 6 immigrants who sued the Trump administration on Monday over its decision to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Act, or DACA program. Now, I love how they start out with this particular individual. There are 6 immigrants in this suit, but they go with the attorney. Because why? She's a poster child to hold up and say, look at these DACA. We have a lawyer. Oh, well, let's leave out the fact that the majority of lawyers are sleazy and actually don't give a shit about the law. Just look at Congress for that one. Both houses is overrun with lawyers. And look at how flagrantly they disregard law. They don't care. So, why would it be any different than an illegal who somehow manages to have the bar license them? When they're not a legal resident, they're not an American, they're committing a crime. I thought you couldn't be a criminal and be in the active commission of a crime and become a lawyer. It used to be that way, but yet somehow she manages to become one. And it's not like she's like very young here. We're gonna get into how old she is. Okay. A little further on here. Because she's not a wet behind the ears lawyer here. She isn't. She's been practicing for a while. But in California, what would I expect? With the Ninth Circus and its disregard for the law, why would the Bar Association and the attorneys and everyone else there be any different? Garcia's parents smuggled her family into Southern California from Mexico when she was 4 years old. Okay? Smuggled the family. Okay, so I love how this is just such a broad, open statement. Now, are we talking the immediate family, like her and her 16 siblings? Are we talking about the grandparents on both sides? Are we talking aunts, uncles, cousins? I mean, was like her parents the Coyote family? The Coyotes of the family? Smuggling people across the fucking border? Probably, from the sounds of this. I'd be curious to find out. While she was receiving an education in an American high school, the young woman worked for a criminal defense lawyer, which inspired her to want to become an attorney. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. I love this one. Because you have a criminal attorney who knows criminal law employing an illegal who is a criminal. Huh. Yeah, just gotta love that one. And what is this lawyer who's just blatantly ignoring criminal law doing? Instilling the fact into this illegal the want to become an attorney. So, how is this person going to be a good attorney when they don't care about the law? Because if Dulce cared about the law, she'd go back to Mexico, where she could make a damn good living as an attorney. So, yeah, word of advice, you don't want to hire an attorney who flagrantly and blatantly rubs in your face that they're breaking the law and that they feel that they're entitled, to staying in this country and ultimately, getting citizenship because their parents smuggled them here. You really don't want that as your attorney. Because that just goes to show how delusional they are, and that delusional characteristic isn't exactly going to make for like them coming up with a good defense for you. She put herself through college and law school by working for lawyers and performing other jobs such as parking cars. I ain't buying that. I ain't buying that. She's in California, where they prioritize giving free shit like educations to illegals. Do I think she didn't subsidize her financial situation while going to college by doing those things? No, I do believe that. She did do those things to subsidize. But law school ain't cheap. Now, that being the case, where it isn't cheap, there's no way she could afford it on her own. None. That means financial aid. That means the whole free shit thing. So I'm calling bullshit here on her paying for it herself. Just complete bullshit. And I'm definitely calling bullshit on the next sentence, because working all those jobs, she had to know what they're about to say here. It is unknown when she realized that she was an illegal alien, but when President Obama announced DACA in 2012, 30 years after her family sneaked her into the U.S., Garcia jumped at the opportunity. Okay? She didn't realize, no, she knew she was illegal. Going back to the day she was working for that lawyer, I'll put money she knew. She knew before that, okay? When your family's going, inmigración, okay? You know you're not supposed to be here. You know you're a fucking illegal. Sorry. It's the truth of the matter. And the fact that, let's get on that whole thing where I just stressed the age. 30, how many years? Okay, 30 years. So she was 4 years old when she came in. She was 34 when she got put on DACA. They try to portray DACA as, oh, they're all just young, barely legal adults, if that. DACA's there to protect them. No. They're mostly her age. Now, we're talking 2012. Or wait a minute. Yeah, 2012. We've had 5 years pass. So, she's 39. If that's a fucking child... Oh, God. The left is getting desperate if they're going to call it a fucking child. She's 39 years old. That's the average DACA recipient. They're like my age. I'm in my early 40s. They're only a few years behind me, if that. Yes, you have some that are barely, into their 20s or whatever, even, mid-20s. You have a few that are literally adults now. But they're all her age. If you can't fend for yourself at fucking 40 with skills that you learn in the United States, not my fucking problem. Because that's your problem for coming here illegally, regardless if your parents brought you here. I feel bad for you, but guess what? America and Americans should come first. Why should you get preferential treatment and be looked at as being treated special because your parents snuck you across the border? Don't work like that. Life does not work like that. Well, if you've got leftists in control, it does, because they want more people to vote Democrat because then they get every little damn thing that they want. Well, they make anyone who's, at least these days, right of marks, take it up the ass and like it. Well, that's ended. Deal with it. Just 30 years after her family sneaked her into the U.S., she jumped at the opportunity. Well, of course. Because she's trying to practice law as an illegal. You can't exactly do that. Somehow she managed to. And the attorneys at the Bar Association, they should that allowed a criminal to be licensed, they should be disbarred for overseeing that. Plain and simple, they should be. When she filled out forms for a Social Security number in 2013, the government clerk congratulated her. I cried right there, she told reporters, as she prepares to make a case for how deserving she and 800,000 others like her are of American citizenship. No! Constitution says you're wrong, bitch. You're a lawyer. That means you should know that the conditions of what makes you an American citizen. Okay? Like the fact of going through the process, jumping through all the hoops, paying the fees for it, taking the tests, all the prerequisites to become an American citizen. The other way is to be born in this country. That's American citizen. That's how you get American citizenship. Not because your parents brought you here illegally. You're not entitled to that. But yet you think you are. Since it was authorized in 2012 by President Obama, the program has provided protection from deportation and the legal right to work to nearly 800,000 young people. No, technically it didn't. Because you see, Congress has to make a law that does that. Obama overstepped his power and through executive order basically said, oh, the law doesn't apply to you. You're privileged. Here, go work. Here, go get a Social Security card. Go collect free shit. That's what he did. Yes, some of them managed to, like Garcia, okay, become a lawyer, but she's got no concept of the law because she doesn't think that the fact of, as a lawyer, law trumps her feelings. Which should go to show you, again, why she would probably not be the person to hire to represent you legally. Oh, God. The gall of these people. Garcia's case, filed in San Francisco federal court, is the first to be brought by DACA recipients known as Dreamers since U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced earlier this month that the Obama-era policy would start winding down in March 2018, according to Garcia's lawyers. And her lawyers, same boat as her. They're not ones you want to have representing you legally. Garcia's lawsuit is among several others, including 2 cases brought by state attorneys general challenging the decision to end DACA. Yeah, and if you look, these state attorneys generals are like Massachusetts, New York, California. Where there's a clusterfuck of blue, there's an attorney general involved in this. Pretty much for the most part. The legal claims in all the cases, including Garcia's, are basically complaining that the Trump administration did not follow proper administrative procedure in rescinding DACA, and that making enforcement promises to a group of people only to revoke them violates due process. No! No, don't work like that. Because, number one, an executive order, there's no freaking administrative procedure. A president signs the administrative procedure to rescinding an executive order. President takes, they write up a thing rescinding it, and he goes and signs away. That's the administrative procedure. He followed it. That makes your whole thing there moot. The fact of making enforcement promises to a group of people, you kind of can't, because you can't. Congress is the only ones that can change the law. What Obama did was say, you're above the law. You can't exactly do that without the legal power to do so, considering what he did, and he even admitted it was unconstitutional. You can't exactly do that. So guess what? You're violating due process, moot. Because it violated due process of the law and violated the law for him to give the reprieve. Just put things back on track. Sorry you don't like it. The Trump administration has said it is ending DACA because Obama overstepped his constitutional authority when he bypassed Congress and created the de facto amnesty program unilaterally, which he did. Obama even admitted that. I'm surprised. Oh, because this is kind of slanted one way, but then at the end, yeah. You'd think they would have brought this out in the article because it's a very valid point. President Trump called on Congress to enact a law to protect DACA recipients last week, angering some of his fellow Republicans by negotiating with top congressional Democratic leaders on possible legislation. And here's the fucking irony. Okay. Basically what Trump did here, especially with the fact of how Chuck and Pelosi went, oh yeah, we got a deal on DACA. No. They were trying, yeah. He played them. Because the situation is this kind of reminds me of, what was it? The second season of Entourage, with the whole Aquaman movie. The head of Warner Studios gives Vince this, what he believes is impossible task to complete in order to shoot another movie that he wants to shoot, even though he's contractually obligated to shoot the sequel to Aquaman. So wait a minute, it might have actually been season 3. I apologize. Yeah, it would be season 3. So, anyways, what ends up happening is they jump through all the hoops, get things done to where he is able to do Medellin, and the head of Warner said, fuck you, and fucked him. See, Trump basically, minus the fact of the whole other part of them being able to do it, because minus that part there, because the thing is they're a minority in both the House and the Senate. There's no way they're going to get this passed. So what he basically said was, oh yeah, you jump through all these hoops. Yeah, we'll take care of that DACA thing. So they got it in their head that they're going to get what they want, and they were just given the impossible task to do. That's what it's looking like. I mean, when I saw all the drama with Ann Coulter and all the people burning their MAGA hats, when Chucky and Pelosi came out and said they had a deal on DACA, I said, my initial reaction was I wanted to get pissed at him, but I said, no, I'm going to give it a day or so, see what's going on. And this is my personal opinion on what's going on, is he basically gave them that impossible task and they ain't going to complete it. Just hate to break it to him. That's kind of like the people that are like knocking Trump. That's kind of what's going on here from the looks of things. During the 2016 presidential election, Trump ran on a hardline immigration platform, promising to end DACA and strengthen the border protections in order to increase jobs for U.S. workers. It was way more than that. I mean, this is one of the byproducts of it. Because like Zuckerberg's little group tried to twist and say, well, there's 700,000 jobs that's going to be lost. They were just saying the illegals were the ones losing them and opening them up to the market. They didn't want to play up that fact, which would free up 700,000 jobs for Americans. So yeah, that's part of it. But the main thing here that it was about was the fact of the rule of law. The crime. Because, let's be honest, you do have some good people, but how good can you be to come here illegally? To say you want to be here and live in this country, okay? And then you disrespect this country by coming here and not, without going through the process? I don't know how good you are. Just saying. But, I mean, when you have MS-13 as a problem in this country, okay? Because of the illegal immigration situation, the illegal alien situation would actually be more accurate. There's a criminal element. The drug cartels, again, criminal element. The murderers and the rapists, the people who drive drunk and kill people, again, there's that criminal element. So, yeah, it's more than just the worker, the jobs thing for Americans. The case on behalf of Garcia and the other DACA recipients can be heard with two separately filed San Francisco DACA cases, one brought by the University of California, which, I mean, you would think that someone would go, oh, what are you doing spending taxpayer money on this shit? But of course, it's leftist California, where somehow when you have a sea of red outside LA, they control things like the state legislature, and they allow for University of California to be filing lawsuits that it should have no rhyme or reason to do. I mean, they don't have a horse in this race. I mean, you would think someone would say, no, you're not spending our money, our taxpayer money on this shit. But no, it's California, so of course you're not. So yeah, you have one brought by the University of California and another brought by a group of state attorneys general led by California's Xavier Becerra, whatever it is. It definitely sounds like a Hispanic name, which makes you wonder if he's got any illegals in his family where he's doing this. Who knows? I'd be curious. Just seems like it might be the case because he's going to want to keep his grandmother in the country. Sorry, just saying. Another group of attorneys general, led by New York's Eric Schneiderman, filed a lawsuit over DACA on September 6th in Brooklyn Federal Court, according to a report in Daily Mail on Monday. Now, here's the thing with these. If you look, these lawsuits are happening in the only places where a judge would actually consider it. Because, you know, when you have these sea of blue shitholes like California and New York, you've got judges who decide that I'm a judge, I'm here to make law, not interpret the law as it's written. They legislate from the bench. So, of course, you're going to see in New York and California these lawsuits allowed to be filed. And that's where they're going to choose, of course, because it's Democrat run. Thing is they don't run the Supreme Court, which is probably going to make it there, and the Supreme Court's going to laugh them out. I think it's going to come down to that. So then, why are they even bothering? Oh, that's right, because they're the left and they don't think the law applies to them. Unless it's laws that they like and only against others that aren't them. Jurayut Nu Lat Thimgongskorn, I know I butchered that, another plaintiff in the lawsuit on Monday, was brought to the United States from Thailand when he was 9 years old. Not our problem, Jurayut. Like it's not our problem with Garcia. Vladan Voringskun is now a 4-year medical student at the University of California in San Francisco and is a master's degree candidate in public health at Harvard. Okay, like Garcia, you should have thought about the fact of making sure your ass was covered, taking personal responsibility. You had this temporary reprieve that you knew was temporary. So, why didn't you then go and say, yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity now that I have a somewhat legal status to make it officially legal and apply for a green card, pay the fees, go through the process, or do the same thing on the note of becoming an American citizen? Oh, you just decided that you figured, oh, well, my ass is going to be covered. Didn't think that it would end someday, and now you're dealing with that fact. Sow what you reap. Take responsibility for your actions. You were too fucking lazy to take the steps to cover your ass. Not our problem. That's your problem. His DACA work authorization expires in January 2019. This will likely affect his medical residency, which won't begin until after that deadline. Yeah, so should have thought ahead. Apply for legal residency status now. You might get lucky. Not our problem. You've got a year and we'll say 3 months. Maybe you'll get lucky. I have all these big ideas about how I want to change the world and change systems around healthcare, he said. The fact I might not be able to get there is troubling and frustrating. Well, no, you can still do that. You'll just have to do it in Thailand, which medical doctors are in demand in Thailand. So you could do pretty well for yourself. Just saying. Not our problem that you didn't take care of your own shit. Take some responsibility for your actions. Suck it up. If you got to go back to Thailand, you're set. You're a fucking doctor, dude. Garcia said that having to advise some of her DACA clients that there may be no help for them, while at the same time trying to adjust her own immigration status, is tough. But it makes one wonder why an intelligent lawyer who had to pass a state bar exam to work would not have pursued legal immigration as soon as she realized her illegal status. Because we're talking about the same fucking lawyer who thought it was a good idea to become a lawyer when you're a fucking illegal breaking the law, which kind of prevents you from being licensed because you're a criminal in the open commissioning of a crime. But yet somehow in California the bar licensed her. I mean, come on now. What do you expect from these people? And the thing is she knows she doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell on the hottest day of the year. Yet she thinks she's entitled. Like the overwhelming majority of these 800,000. And that says a lot. That they think that they're better than Americans and have a right to things that should be going to Americans. And it's disgusting. And I think I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.